familia, and welcome to another episode of Fire and Butterflies, where vulnerability meets authenticity, where courage meets love, and where fire meets butterflies. And I'm your host, Comadre Cristal, and welcome again, my very special guest, Meghan Lambert.
Hi.
Welcome back, Meghan.
Thank you for having me back. Oh my gosh. I know
I
it was a lot last time. Oh girl, we're going to dive in some more and I'm super excited for it. You're about to be mind blown because I'm going to read and give you all an experience of what goes on when I am reading a gene key. So, or
I'm
your gene
excited.
keys
I'm
because it's like
excited. Yes.
you'll see like a lot of aha moments and be like, oh my god, so it's been in me this whole freaking time. Yeah,
I
girl,
love
I
it.
had that
I'm
when I was
excited.
reading that.
I'm excited. I'm excited. So, for those of you who have not watched the episode, go make sure you watch it. It was the last episode where I introduced Meghan and kind of talk a little bit about. She talks about her story and where she started from leaving and the unhealthy, toxic relationship to now being and thriving and being a mindset transformational coach. Like that is phenomenal. And all really thanks to her learning about herself and using her gene keys to pivot her in on her path. So I was like, okay, gene keys, human design. This is the first time I've ever heard of this. So I was like, Meghan, we got to keep going. You got to go in deeper because if I haven't heard of this, I know there's a lot of people who probably haven't heard of this. So that's why Meghan is graciously showing us a little bit about my human design and gene keys. So go for it, Meghan. The space is all yours. Well, yeah, go
Well,
for it.
today I'm going to go over just your activation sequence because it is the very first sequence that everybody should touch when it comes to gene keys. And if you watched the episode before, I said that there is 3 different sequences within your gene keys, which is your activation, your love, and your prosperity. It goes in that order, but you don't have to follow that order. But I do suggest that order. So before I tap into your gene keys, I do want to clarify some things to really touch and embody this. Look at your human design. I said that before in the last one. I'm going to say it again because it's very important. And in your gene keys, there's always going to be a line. It's going to be the number after the period. And each of those numbers are going to correlate with an archetype. Archetype 1 through 6. This is where human design comes in, y'all. Okay, so there's 6 different archetypes. And before I step into yours, I do want to explain just a smidge of each of those archetypes, what they are and whatnot.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So your profile, you're 4-6. Okay. So you're an opportunist role model. That's your first number is going to be your conscious sun and earth. Okay. It's going to be the number. If you look at your human design and it's the top 2 on the black side, it's going to be the 4. Okay. So this is the type of energy that you give off to people and that you kind of just flow in life and act out. Where the second number is your unconscious. I know you're like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
Your unconscious, the second number is your unconscious sun and earth. This is the one that you are, I mean, you're probably now going to be aware that you are it because I'm speaking into it and I'm telling you, but it's the one that you can't shut off. It's in everything you freaking do. You breathe it every day. You sleep with it every day. It is with you all the freaking time. You can't fight that shit. I'm sorry. I've tried mine. I'm a 3-5. My unconscious is heretic. I realize that everything I do, I'm trying to help and fix people. And there ain't no shutting it off. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so and what's my second number?
Yours is the role model 6. Now, I'm going to go over each of them, a snippet of each. If you are
Mhm.
a line 1, that means you are an investigator. Okay. Meaning you have got to research everything. You're the person who likes to know the ins and outs before you dive into anything. And I do mean that. I do want to suggest this. If you do have a line 1 and somebody comes to you and ask you about whatever it is that you know everything about, always ask them, do you want the short version or the long version? Because a lot of the line 1s want to give you the long version. And
Yes.
me, the type of person that I am, because I am a 3-5, I don't want the long version. I want the straight to the point, give it to me.
I feel
That's
the
me.
same way. I'm gonna start asking people like, just give it to me short, to the point.
Exactly.
Short and sweet,
That's
please.
me. Now, twos. Twos are the hermits. They're the ones who like to be by themselves. However, relationships are very, very important to them. They may only have a handful of friends, but these friends they value because they allow them to, like, or these friendships, these relationships allow the hermit in them to come out of their shell and encourage them to use their gifts and what they're passionate about. And they also honor the fact that they do need alone time. So that is what a hermit is. My husband's a 2-4, so he's a hermit, and I pull him out of his shell sometimes. Then there's the 3, which is the martyr, and I know that sounds like not a fun word or a good word, but they're also known as the experimenters. We are the people who don't like to follow directions. I'm just gonna say it. We don't. I to this day cannot stand following. I mean, I'll look at it, but my brain is going, huh, there's a better way. Or you know what? I want to try it this way. So we like to experiment shit. So if you are someone who wants to try something, go find someone who has a 3 and they'll jump in it right away. They're like, yeah, let's go. Who cares? I don't need information. Just put me there. Then there's the 4, which is the opportunist. The opportunist values relationship. And when I say relationships, I don't mean with just people. I mean with work, with objects, with anything. So you value relationships. And when you pick your relationships, you like to see the opportunity in them. If you do not see the opportunity in them, you don't want anything to do with it. I mean,
Mhm.
you're a 4, is that right? I mean, that's your conscious too.
No, it's true. You're right. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's me.
That is,
But
yeah, that is so true.
see,
It, yeah, I think the way for me, I never really thought about it, but I like once I'm done with the relationship, I just drop it. Like
yeah,
I don't like,
that
and don't get me
when
wrong,
you,
there's some that are hard to let go of for sure, but I once I'm done, I'm done. Like
yeah,
I'm
that
done.
is your, that's your
Hmm.
4. If you
Hmm.
can't see the value in that opportunity with that relationship, it's like, okay, I don't want it anymore. So, and that's how my husband is too. Unconsciously, that is how he
Hmm.
is. He wants to give shit up and just like, no, I don't see the reason for to keep it. And his is more with objects. If he sees something that he no longer finds value, he's like quick to give it away,
Yeah.
which I'm all for because I'm like, yeah, I don't like hoarding anyways. Let's get it. Then there's the 5, which is the heretic. They're the fixers. They're also known as the fixers. I'm a 3-5. They're the ones who seem to know what to do all the freaking time and want to fix everything and everyone. The struggle with the heretic, me talking as one, is we've got to understand you can't fix everything.
Mm, that's
I
so
had to
true.
learn that the
Yeah,
hard way,
no,
y'all.
I hear that, 6 is not my human design number, but let me tell you, being a people
Well,
pleaser, especially with my own trauma, and we'll probably talk about that a little in a little bit more, but yeah, I like to call myself Captain Save a Hoe. I
well,
love being Captain Save a
interesting
Hoe.
enough, you okay, so the very last one is a 6. Now the 6 are called role models. And they're very okay. So they tend to be the most I don't want to say it's not complex. What was the word that I used before? Misunderstood
Oh, Miss.
people
Uh-huh.
in the world. They are the most misunderstood people. And that is your unconscious thing. So unconsciously, you probably are like, why the fuck? You probably are like wondering why people don't get you. Unconsciously, like, it's not that hard. You get frustrated because you're like, it's that simple. For you, it is. But they tend to be the most misunderstood people. The reason for it is because you hold all the archetypes before it, 1 through 5, just at different stages. Okay. There are 3 phases in a 6. The first phase is from birth all the way up until 30s. And that is you are embodying the experimenter, the 3. You're always experiencing shit. Okay. And a lot of the things that you experience it are probably rough experiences. You were meant to be called because you're building up for the role model. You're like, oh my God, she's calling me out.
No, I love it. Call me out. No, but it's so fucking true. Because if I could pinpoint when my life literally not took a turn, but like one of the biggest pivotal points of my life was in my 30s, for sure. Like,
Well, once you are done with the first phase, you then step into the second phase, which goes, I want to say, from 30s until 50. Okay. And that's when you step into the 1 and 2, the investigator and hermit. I say this because you step back, you pause from the experimenting and start to evaluate your life and be like, okay, that's where I messed up. And what lesson did I learn there? And you start implementing and experimenting with these lessons. I mean, you're still the 3. You're always going to have the 3. You're experimenting with the lessons that you've learned, which also then puts you in a hermit mode because you realize that you've got to go inward because 3 as a 6 you might blame other people for your experiences, so you got to go, you're like, yeah.
no, I talked about that in my like first episode of like, yeah, I was the one who blamed everyone. Everyone's the problem but me.
Yeah, here's you start to realize, okay, it wasn't everyone. I need to go inward and feel what I need to feel and discover what I need to discover.
Yep.
Okay,
And
so
that
that's
all started in my 30s. Holy shit.
yeah. So 30 to 50, you have that. Once you hit around 50, you then step into the heretic, and like you get these ahas of like, oh my God, because you've experienced all this shit and you went inward and you did all the things that you needed to do. You then step into the hero one, which then leads into the role model. This is the very last phase. The third phase is the last one. You step into the role model phase, which makes you the wisest motherfucker in the
Aw.
freaking world. If you have a 6, you become like the wisest motherfucker because you lived it, you breathed it, you tasted it, you've done it all.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
when people come to you, and as a 6er unconscious, your aura is so strong. Okay. So whatever you are feeling, your aura is screaming at other people, and you attract whatever it is that you're feeling or whatever. And so when you step into that role model phase, you're going to attract those people who are experiencing what you've already experienced, and then guiding them and teaching them like, hey, instead of going at it this way, how about you try this? And the reason why that they trust you is because you tell your story doing it, and they're like, oh my God, maybe I should try that. So you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, girl. I didn't even call
aw.
it out like it is.
I love no, that's so true. And oh, that is so true. Because that's when everything started changing for me in my early 30s, for sure. Oh my gosh, for sure. Because I'm 35. I mean, everyone knows it. Like, I literally celebrated my birthday a couple weeks ago at this point. Like, I'm 35 now. And just today I was texting a friend and she's like, I can't believe I missed your birthday. I'm like, I can't believe I almost missed my own birthday. I feel no joke, like I genuinely feel older, like wiser, like what you everything you're saying. Like even the other day I had in my comadreando group session, I had one of my clients say, you're just so wise. You're such a wise woman. And I'm like, yeah, I am wise. Like hearing it and you confirming I am wise. And I'm just like, I do. I feel so much older than 35.
Mm-hmm.
I literally feel like I'm in my 50s. Like sometimes I have a moment where I'm like, I'm 35, right? Like kids, even my kids feel it. Like the other day, I was telling my little girl, I was playing with her on the floor, and I was like, "Oh, mommy has to get up because her knees are hurting. Mommy's getting old." And my little girl started crying. She's like, "Mommy, you're gonna die." I was like, "No, I'm not. Do not say that. I'm wise, but I'm not old." But it's so true. Like I do. I like mentally feel old, but physically I don't feel like it's weird. But yeah,
Okay, I know this is off topic here, and you said your knees are hurting. Which knee is it?
my uh my right.
Your right knee?
Yeah.
So, to add to what I do, I also translate body signals. So when there's
Oh.
yeah, I know I do it mainly in my yoga classes though. Yes, I'm a yoga instructor, y'all. Um,
I'm telling you,
Knees
everyone,
represent
I'm gonna rename Megan to like badass coach. I'm just saying. Like I said that last time, I'm gonna
yeah.
say it again. Like badass coach. Just go to her.
So knees represents relationships, okay? Whether you're being supported in a relationship or not. With the right one, because right stands for receiving, masculine, or self. So this, I'm just throwing that out there just because I was told she needs to know. Okay. So if you want to go in later by yourself, not on air, if you don't want to, you can be like, okay, where do I not feel supported in my
Oh,
relationship?
I can say it on air. And if there's any men listening to this episode and you feel like you can make a great support, hit this girl up. I'm just saying, being a single mom is hard, and oh, I'm gonna make a whole episode about that because it's so true. Like,
Yep.
and I have started feeling the knee pain very recently, and I think it's been at least a month now for sure, and I can pinpoint exactly when it started hurting, and I know exactly what happened during that time. So yeah, it's the I have to tap in. I have to tap in so much into my masculine energy. I've always tapped into my masculine energy because I grew up having to be the caregiver, the provider, like in my masculine energy. And now being a single mom, I'm just like, oh, back to my masculine. So it's yeah. It's a balance to try to balance both out, but I have been feeling it for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Now, if you want to change it, I mean, you mind if I do something with you real quick?
Go for it. Do it. Do it. It's all good.
Okay, so you said it's divine masculine energy. Is this with a person or just your divine masculine self?
My divine masculine self. Like it's I don't yeah. There's no person.
Okay. Do you support yourself and how you feel when you I'm getting the word overcompensate in the divine masculine because you almost feel like you always have to be in your divine masculine.
Mhm. Mhm.
You
Yeah.
do?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I if you sit tall and really lengthen your spine. Okay, I know I'm this anyone who wants to do this with me while you're on here, go right on ahead. Place both feet down on the ground, okay? So you're going to sit tall and you're going to draw your shoulders away from your ears, okay? And just relax them there. As you breathe, you're going to breathe in through the nose and go all the way down to your pelvic floor, filling up your belly, following it up into the ribs, into your chest. Now exhale, soften the body even more. Okay. Now envision as if you had lungs in your right knee. Okay. Now breathe into the right knee, following that same flow that we just breathed earlier. Now, in your mind or out loud, y'all, you can say this. I give myself permission to be in my divine feminine.
I give
And then as
myself
soon as you
permission to be in my divine feminine.
now breathe. Say it again.
I give myself permission to be in my divine feminine.
Breathe. Oh, I felt that, girl. Did you feel it?
Yes.
All right. This is what I do, y'all.
I love it.
Okay. So, when we speak to our body, I know this is totally off topic. I'm sorry. This you
No,
just
no. This is you doing what you do, being a badass coach.
so when I know for some of y'all who may have tried this and you sat there doing it, your brain's gonna tell you what the fuck because
Mhm.
it's an unfamiliar thing. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be weird. But the more that you verbally say these things to yourself, it becomes a natural response because you're allowing yourself and your mind to say, okay, it's okay. I can do this. So it might be weird at first because it's unfamiliar. You probably never said it to yourself. But the more that you say it to yourself and the more you breathe those words into your body, guess what? You're allowed, you give yourself permission to flow with the energy and rid of whatever it needs to be get rid of.
Mhm.
So, did you
Absolutely.
feel that? I mean, I have to ask, did you? Because like I felt it when I connect with the people, I feel what
100.
they feel, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh yeah, no, I felt it for sure. And that's and I love the fact, and this is why I love when when we are on healing journeys. And yes, like Megan said, in the very beginning, it probably would have, it was hard for me to quiet my mind. It was hard for me to sit down and just breathe. And now, like on the spot, I can do it. I'm just like, oh, tap into my energy, like I can do this. And it's just so powerful. The more practicing, the more you keep showing up for yourself. I felt it, like
Mhm.
I 100, like it, I don't even know how to describe what I felt. Like it was just like yeah, and then the tingling sensation, yeah, I felt it all.
Okay,
um
good.
but you're right, it does take time and it does take practice. And the good thing is that I love that you do this, because this is what I never, the difference of what you just offered, and I'm gonna start doing this, is breathing into my body parts. Because for me, I've always done that mostly in like focusing on my chakras. I have never thought about doing it for my body and then what my body's trying to tell me like that. But thank you, Megan. I love
You're
that. And
welcome.
I'm gonna run with this. I'm gonna run with
I,
this.
I I always tell this in my yoga class because when I teach yoga and when I practice yoga, it gives my body a chance to speak to me, and each part of the body correlates with a different type of energy.
Mhm.
So for your shoulder, I don't know, we were talking about Gene Keys and now we're talking about this, but I'm just throwing this out there for just a sec. For those of you who have shoulder issues, shoulders represents burdens to blessings. Maybe you're carrying the world on your shoulders. If
Mhm.
there's a way that you can find the blessing within the burden and breathe into that space, do
Yeah.
do it. So I always tell my students, like, hey, wherever you feel the discomfort, I want you to imagine that you got lungs there and you're gonna
Mhm.
breathe the shit into that place and
Mhm.
say whatever it is you need to say. And then after class, they're like, man, I didn't know I could feel this good. Now I feel like I can go dance. Go dance.
Yeah, exactly. Because it does. It helps. Breathing, breath work is so uh, essential. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like I don't even think there's words to describe just how important it is to just even breathe. Like if you don't know how to, if again we are going into different tangent here, but it's okay. Uh, breathe. I know it was sometimes when life is crazy, chaotic, and everything's hurting, like your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, everything. Sometimes it's a reminder, just stop, hold your hand over your heart, and just breathe. Just
Mhm.
breathe. Like, just breathe. Connect with yourself again, because yeah, breathing. And so breathing into those body parts. Wow. I love that. And I never thought of it like that, because our body truly does hold on to our traumas. Our body holds on to everything. And so
Mhm.
breathe into it. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Megan. Thank you for
You're
doing that.
welcome. Okay, back to what I was
Okay, yeah, back to
originally came
Jinkies.
here for. No, it's okay, girl. You needed it. So, because your team was like, tell her, freaking tell her, Megan. I'm like, fine. This
I
has
appreciate
nothing to
it.
do with what I was supposed to talk about, but okay.
Oh no, I
Y'all,
love
when
it.
you connect with your team, they just get louder and louder and more demanding,
Hmm.
which I love them. Okay. Anyways, okay, so we went over the archetypes, and the reason why I wanted to talk about the archetypes, like I said before, each line is going to correlate with that type of archetype.
Hmm.
You'll start to notice if you look at yours and you see the line, and maybe you go online and discover what that is, and you'll be like, oh my god, that really is, it correlates with that archetype. So
Yeah.
for you, my dear, we're going to go into your genius, why you came here on this freaking earth, and what your soul decided, yep, this is why I'm coming here. This is what I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to do it. And just so y'all know, it's not like going to tell you what your job's going to be and all that. No, this is the type of energy that you are supposed to hold or use, shall I say, when you do choose a profession or choose to do anything in life. It doesn't have to be a job. It can be something that you just like to freaking do.
Hmm.
So, girl, life's work all has to do with what you came here to do on this earth. This is going to be one of your key things in whatever you do and what you're doing. This is the energy that the type of energy that you hold. Now, the reason why I say Gene Keys is your divine feminine is because you can shift and pivot it. There's a with divine feminine, we tend to shift and pivot a lot. Okay. We're women. We go through periods and whatnot. We shift and pivot all the freaking time. So that's why I say, yeah, it's the divine feminine energy. So you have Gene Key 17 in your life's work. Your life's work, like I said, what you came here to do on this freaking earth. Now, your shadow, I don't know if I don't know if I need to go over. There's 3 different frequencies within each gene key. Okay. So there's the shadow, and then there is the gift, and then there's the CD. Each that's just low frequency, good frequency, and really good frequency. And I will say this, the CD is like, I don't want to say never happens. It happens, but you just don't stay there very long. And sometimes it doesn't happen until like the end of your life. So just want to throw that out there. So your shadow is opinion. A lot of the times when in your life's work, you either allow people to be make opinions of yourself, which causes you not to do whatever you wanting to do, or you have an opinion on what other people are doing when it comes to things that you want to do. This is your shadow self. Okay. So this is going to control how you freaking do things. All right. Does that correlate with you at all? You're like, oh my God.
No, of course not. What? No, oh my, yes. Like, and I talked about this in one episode too, but and I don't mind like really sharing about my journey of, I think for me it was also like growing up, the perfectionism in me really
Mm-hmm.
also forced me to like care too much about other people's opinions about me, because I wanted to keep other people happy. Like that's like if I molded myself, I would keep others happy, but fuck my own happiness. Like
Yeah.
what? I get to be happy too. Uh, and so then as I grew and as I changed, I have realized, oh wait, like I need my happiness matters too. Like I don't I have to stop caring about other people's opinions about me. I have to stop caring about other people's narratives about me, because those narratives were the narratives I was carrying, and they like had nothing to do with me. So for sure on that, and then also of me pushing my opinion onto others, there I think that was one of my um character defaults for sure of I wouldn't say the ruin of my marriage, but I would for sure say like it played a vital role in my marriage. And I didn't realize that until like afterwards, the divorce, and you look back and you're like, ah, yeah, I did that, right? And it was I like control. I like having control over things. It's my
Mm-hmm.
way or the highway. It's like it's I'm you're doing it wrong. That's not how you do it. You have to do it this way. And even though there is no such thing as right, the right or the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
That's all stuff like we tell ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, when I form a very strong opinion about something, I, it's hard. It like no,
Yeah.
it's this is the way. But I've been learning, and I've been really learning how to manage it to also just kind of like understand that I'm a blip on other people's blips. So at this point, I've accepted. You do you, I'll do me. We're gonna be fine.
Well, when you are aware of the shadow, you do have the choice to stay there, or you can step back because your gift. This okay, so all your gifts are going to be in your gifts, okay? Your gift is to be able to see far-sightedness, meaning you step back and know that yes, you have your opinions and everybody else has their opinions, and you can see and be like, you know what, it's okay, like what you and you've seen to master that.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you choose to do, know that your best energy is when you can step back and be like, you know what, I understand you, I understand me, I'm going to do it my way and you do it your way, where you kind of honor each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like how your life's work involves. I mean, what is it, does you see how that plays in what you're doing right now?
Oh, for
Where
sure, for sure. I think even now and so there's a lot of thoughts that are happening right now. Let me
it's
slow it
okay.
down. Let me slow
Breathe.
it down. I know, right? In my life's work, I had mastered that a long time ago, just because there's having a work ethic, and the ethic that I developed in my muggle job. I like to call it that. My muggle job, was to give people the dignity, meet them where they're at. I worked in the field for 10 years. So every time a client would come in, and if I didn't agree with their relationship, like at the end, it was like, it's their relationship. Like, you may
Mm-hmm.
or may not agree with it. Like that's theirs. Like they're still hurting. So I was able to master it then. I think it was in my personal life where I still struggled, because personally, there was just something there that I wasn't able to figure out, like how to step away from me not having to be Captain Save-A-Ho, because I think that was where me having to save everyone and protect everyone played a huge role, because it's like that's how I felt that their happiness was going to happen. Like again, it's a I don't even know. Trying to explain it is overwhelming me. Like,
No. Now the thing with gene keys, they are meant to be contemplated. It's
mm-hmm,
not something that you're like, okay, yeah, I can just pivot and go into that. No, you really go deep and ask, okay, am I being opinionated or allowing someone to opinionate me?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Or can I see the picture and understand where everyone is at? Because
yeah,
everybody's going to be at where they're at, and there ain't nothing you can do about it
mm-hmm,
except for
exactly,
yourself.
exactly.
So that is what your life's work involves. And you've been using your gifts. Like I said, this is what you came here to freaking
Mm-hmm.
do, is to be the person to say, hey, you have your opinion, I have mine, but I know that we can still cohesively work together and we
Mm-hmm.
can find a compromise. And if not, that's fine. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're in this sphere, or this life's work sphere, you're line 4. So line 4, once again, has to do with the opportunist. Now, that being said, in the life's work line, it is called the server. You were meant to serve other people. Okay. You
Yeah.
were meant to work with other people. However, you also have to understand that this is what I'm getting. You love being alone. And sometimes you
Sorry,
have
keep
to
going, keep going. I'm just ignore me over here laughing.
I know, I'm like, oh my God. So even though you love being alone, you also need to find that balance with being with other people. Okay. Maybe opinion has made you want to be alone because you didn't have to worry about opinion when you were by yourself, because you knew how to control your own opinion of yourself. But how can you use opinion to help serve the world without falling back into your own self and discarding yourself from the world? Because you are a 4, and girl, you're meant to serve the world. So be the server. Just balance, find that balance. Okay.
That's true. So true.
You're like, holy
So
fuck.
true. So true. And for me, it's so funny because all of this just really, I was just talking to a friend about this, literally talking about this. I'm going to talk about how this like is touching on my relationship because I already mentioned like how my opinions really affected my marriage. And I was just talking to my comadre this weekend about how I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to start dating. I keep saying I am, but then I'm not. But then I keep going back and forth. But then I'm like, um, I just love being by myself. And that's why right now I literally just said that the other day. I'm like, I just love being by myself. There's this peace that I receive every day where I'm like, wow, I don't have to worry about anyone or anything but my kids and myself. And even then, like, it's just, so yes.
Girl, I love being by myself too. And I think this is why my husband and I work out, because he's a 2-4. He's got a hermit, and that's his conscious thing. So he consciously knows he likes to be by himself and go inward. And I'm like, frick yes, because you know what? I know you're not going to control me and every move I make because you're off doing your own thing. So maybe you just, I mean, give me the guy's info and I'll plug it in and be like, yeah, he's a hermit. You're good to go. You know
Oh.
how many friends ask me, like all my single mom friends text me and say, hey, I just talked to a guy. Is it going to be weird if I ask him for his birthday, place, and time? I was like, I don't know. I'll do it. She's like,
I
and
know.
we,
I thought about the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I might as well just cut to the chase. Give me your full name, date of birth, and what time you were, date of birth, the location, and the time, and
yep,
then
do it.
I'll see if we're compatible.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Oh, that is so funny. But yeah, no,
Ah,
it's so true. 100, everything you're saying 100%. And it's been so interesting how that's affected, especially now in relationships, non-romantic, like outside, like work relationships
mhm.
and family relationships. Like it's so phenomenal how I've mastered it and I'm able to like relationships that I didn't know I needed are there, and the relationships I thought I needed are no longer there. And I'm just like, whoa, like, and that's when
Mhm.
I just stopped giving a fuck. Like literally, like I was just like, I have zero fucks to give. Like I have zero fucks to give at this point. And it really does, like it's changed my life to just stop caring. And not that I don't care, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah, I know what you're getting. You know what vision they gave me when you were like, no fucks to give? I don't know if you saw the meme. but it was like, I don't know if I can do this on here, but it was like a guy saying, uh where are all my fucks or something, and he goes, oh, here's one, and he pulls out his middle finger, and I was just like, oh my god, that yep, seems like her. So that's the
Yeah.
vision they gave me. She's
Oh,
like,
that,
she's
yeah.
at this stage.
Yeah, I really am. I'm at that stage with everyone and everything. Like it's but then I have my moments, and I love that you, right before we actually started recording this and you and I were chit-chatting about gene keys, you know, not to put you out there, Megan, but you talked about how you have your own gene keys next to you to remind you.
Mhm.
And I think that's beautiful that I'm going to start doing that too, because I need that reminder. Because don't get me wrong, I am not Miss I don't give a fuck all the time. Like there's days where it's easier and there's days where it's really hard. And I start to find myself giving a fuck and going right back into caring about other people's opinions and caring about my own opinions. And it's just like, so I love that reminder of like, nope, again.
Yeah, I, for those of y'all who want to know, I actually have my gene keys posted on my desk on a monitor that's not function well, it's functional, but it's not plugged in because my computer's broken. But I post it there as a reminder of, okay, these are my energies. I'm gonna own the shit out of them. I'm gonna embody them because they are my true alignment, because sometimes I need that reminder. Sometimes I need to know when I'm stepping into my shadow and be like, oh, wait, nope, I don't want to be there. I'm going to choose to go here.
Hmm.
So that's why I have them there.
Yeah,
Because,
no, I love it.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
especially
right.
knowing that that's my shadow. That's good to know. That's really good to know.
So when we move from life's work, we're going to go down to evolution, and your evolution is basically what your soul decided to learn,
Hmm.
what your biggest challenge is. And it's something, I don't want to say that you'll never experience it once you learn it. It's just something that you continuously is going to show up for you.
Hmm.
Okay. And it might test you, but it's also going to be a reminder of, this is where I was and this is where I'm at now.
Hmm.
So know that. And it's freaking amazing, because I look at mine and I'm like, yeah, that is, it showed up again. Fuck. Where do I want to go?
I love that.
So yours and the life's work and the evolution are going to be sister and brother gene keys. Okay. So they're going to kind of correlate and mesh with each other, and you'll understand why. And as well as the radiance and the purpose are going to be sister and brother gene keys. So your challenge is in the shadow is judgment. I know you got opinion with life and judgment with the evolution, but here's the difference between the two, because you're probably some of y'all, and maybe you is like, isn't that the same? Like, no, opinion, you can shift, pivot it. Judgment, it's like, it's this. You've made it firm and clear, like, no. Like, think of it as a courtroom, and the judge says, all right, you're guilty and you got this and this. There's no falling back on it. There's no going back and changing it. All right. So that is what the energy of judgment is. And you might find that you've experienced some things that you've solidified and said, no, I'm not going to ever do that again because this was my experience. And anytime you witness it, you automatically think, oh, I know what's going to happen. This is going to happen. All because you've made that judgment call. And you being a six, you experienced it. So you're like, I got proof. I've been there. I've done that. I'm not going to do it again. You're like smiling over there, like, yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
However, when you realize that you've made the judgment call, can you, and you step into the gift, you're able to experience it again, but in a different way, in a
Hmm.
different version, to where maybe this judgment that you made wasn't really solid. Have you, and I'm going to question this because this is your evolution, your challenge. Have you ever experienced something twice that was maybe the first time difficult? but experienced again and came out a different way. Like you, your version of it changed.
Yes, for sure. And
She's like, God.
it's I think it's so funny because I keep talking about romantic relationships. What the heck?
Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
No, no, I think it's funny because I literally just had this conversation with my friend the other day. But um I so growing up with an alcoholic father, I was adamant that I would never marry or never date or never be with an alcoholic. Um, just because I was just like, nope, nope, nope. Like I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But the reason why I say that is because instead, what happened was that my judgment was so hard on alcohol that I would ignore the other red flags because my judgment was just like, he's not a drinker. He's not an alcoholic. Like, it's like that, like,
Mm-hmm.
because of like, this is affirmed, like, that makes him a bad man or a bad person. But then he was doing other things, and I was still like, ignoring those red flags, or I wasn't seeing those, or I was justifying that behavior because it's just like, well, but there, he's not an alcoholic. But he's not an alcoholic, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so I started seeing a pattern later on in life with my romantic relationships of who I was dating, and I started seeing patterns there, and I started seeing patterns. And my marriage, unfortunately, I the pattern was in my face, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, what? I cannot do this anymore. Um, and and so, have I learned it? I hope so. I I genuinely do hope so. I haven't dated again. Uh Actually no, after I filed for divorce, I did date for a little bit. And even then there was a pattern showed up again, but I was like, nope, I'm not no, no, no. I am open to receive, but right now I think I need time for healing. And so I was just like, I can't, like, I just need to focus on me instead of focusing on my judgment or on solidifying, like, this is what it's going to be like because I've experienced it. I actually took a step back and said, I need to focus on me because I think for me it was, I was so busy trying to protect myself, like, because of this judgment was formed to protect me, but I just didn't realize it. I didn't realize that I was never really taking care of myself because I was so adamant with that one focused judgment. I don't know if
Mhm.
that makes sense, but yeah,
It does.
that's how I'm seeing it. So yeah.
Now, with your gene keys, the work life and the evolution, the common thread is that you set expectations.
Mhm,
If it's not for yourself, it's with others.
mhm,
Then cause limitations because you limit yourself when you have these expectations. Now, to come out of that and really embody your true gifts is to let go of these expectations that you hold on yourself as well as others. Then the mentality of it all goes away. You're able to really live your life, flow through it, do the work that you were meant to do without any expectations. So a lot of people are like, and I had said this, I want to say maybe a few years back, when I said expectations is such a strong low vibration word because it causes limitations. And when I said that and voiced it, I was like, you know what? Fuck expectations. I don't have any anymore. And literally, it was like, oh, okay. Which I don't. I don't have expectations. The only one expectation I have, y'all, is that all my kids graduate from high school. That's it. That's all I want. That's my expectation. But that's it. But yeah, when you can let go of that and you realize that you're going into expectations, you can release it. And I know, like, you probably hold it a lot in your shoulders. And if you just breathe into that space and
mhm.
say, I let go of expectations, you'll feel a lot easier and flow a lot better and be like, okay, I'm walking around, or what's that song? I'm walking on sunshine.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Hey, hey.
That one.
Don't it feel
Uh,
good?
yeah. It'll
It
be like
does.
that.
It does feel good. And it's so true. Like, well, and I think that's where I'm at now. Like, I didn't even know about my gene keys, and I love how in flow I am with everything that you're talking about because
Yeah.
that's when I started, like, in my 30s. In my 30s was when I started saying I have to fucking stop. Like, what am I
Mhm.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, I have to learn, I need to learn how to master this. And it was that mastering of letting go and letting God, of just letting go of the expectations, letting go of me, letting go of judgment, letting go of the burdens that I was carrying of other people, letting go of their narrative that they had on me. Um, yeah, and then the test came because I think for I don't know about you, Megan, but at least for me, and maybe this comes up later on in the gene keys too, but it's like when you say you're ready, the universe will make sure you're fucking ready.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And when I said I
They
was
do.
ready, oh man. But you're right. I am. I'm here and I'm happy and I'm proud and I'm just like, wow. But it really is about learning how to master all of this. I love this.
Yeah. Well, okay. I know I already touched base. Okay, so your line 4 is love and community. Once again, you got to find that balance between love, loving yourself and your alone time versus community. So putting yourself out there is a good thing, okay? You just got to know and recognize, and for what I get, because this is what spirit's telling me, recognize what your body is saying, and they're saying it's because you're sick, which is hilarious. I'm like, because she's sick, she just needs to know what her body is saying, not your mind, because your mind's going to do a lot of talking.
Mm-hmm.
But when your body, you feel it in your body,
Mm-hmm.
and being like, yes, I can be with these people, or yes, I need to step out and be with people, listen to it.
Yeah.
Shut off the mind, let your body do the talking.
Yeah.
that that's what they telling me.
I absolutely 100% uh believe that. And I do practice that. I need that reminder. So thank you. Thank you for reminding me to do that because I 100%. I even tell that to my kids. I even tell them listen to your body. Listen to your body because it's true like when I started listening to my body, I really started to see just things different
Mhm.
and so a lot of the times, and that's why meditating for me is and breath work. I mean, when I do both, when I do meditations and breath work together, it is just
Is
so
magical.
it is magical. It is absolutely magical. And so yes, I 100% do believe in breathing into my body and listening to my body and listening to what it needs and going in that direction because my mind, I mean, mm,
Girl, everything you're saying right now, I'm like, I haven't even gotten there, but we're gonna get there
yes, let's
because
go, let's go.
you'll be like, oh my God, I just said that. Yep, girl, you did. Okay, so from the evolution, you're then gonna walk your way over to the radiance. This is what keeps you happy and what keeps you healthy, y'all. All right. I before I get into it, I want you to really contemplate the last time you were sick and see how the shadow, when you were sick, this triggered your, maybe it was mental sickness, or maybe it was like physical, like you literally do feel ill or your body is just fatigued in any way, shape, or form, and see how the shadow played a part and told you like, hey, we need to get on it. We need to become healthy. Mind, body, spirit. So your gene key is 56 with the line 6. Okay. This is where your role model shit comes kicking in and being like, bam, I'm here. Literally, it does. All right.
I love it. I
So,
love it.
what keeps you happy and what keeps you healthy when you are in your shadow and you are not in your health or your happiness? You are in the state of dissatisfaction. The frequency of dissatisfaction. Can you recall the last time you were sick and remember what was going on and what was happening, either mentally or physically? Like, dude, yeah.
So funny thing is, I was actually sick, literally sick, a few days before my birthday. Um, it
Were
came out
you
of nowhere too.
dissatisfied with something?
I was I was, and God, and it's funny because now that I'm talking about it, it's been interesting because I just had this conversation with my comadre this past weekend because March was a interesting month for me. March was interesting in general because I I started off the month with expectations and putting it that I know I did. I know I did. Uh and it ended up backfiring on me. And I just kept going though. I was like, it's okay, like it is what it is. Like just keep going. Life happens for me, not to me. Like all, managing the best I could with reminding myself and practicing mindfulness and just like really honing in. The problem and I realized this afterwards was the problem was that I never gave myself time to sit and really like cry about it or like really like let go and like to feel it. Even though I tell people to do that and it's so funny like again like we got to practice what we preach. It was until the end of the month and I was having my own healing session on myself, like by my like I was doing it myself, and then like everything's just started coming out. The tears started coming out, everything just like started coming out, and I got sick the next day. But it was
That's
because
your
I was like,
body's way of
yeah.
detoxing.
Yeah, exactly. But it was because I was holding on to everything still thinking like, oh, I like but the dissatisfaction because that's really what it was. Like I had dissatisfaction in in what happened in the month and the expectations that I had and the expect and had expected. And then for the expectations not to come into fruition, it was just really like sad for me and really heartbreaking. And then it being like my birthday, and I think it just, well, actually, no, I didn't even know it was my birthday. Like literally, my birthday crept up on me, and I was just like, "What the fuck happened? Like, where did March go? What just happened?" And I think that's what like added it all up because I genuinely didn't know it was like the last week of March, and I was like, "Oh shit, my birthday! Like, what? When did?" What? And so that's when that's when everything started coming up of like, oh shit, am I really happy? What's going on? And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, the state of dissatisfaction, you either put yourself stuck or you are like constantly going, trying to find the next best pill, like the next best medicine. All right. So you either stop yourself and being like, okay, this is just how it is. And I'm going to stay in this woe is me moment because I'm
Mhm.
dissatisfied. And you don't allow yourself to like do anything because your expectations were not met. Or you're like, you go, kind of like almost like you're trying to make it your expectations, your drive, whatever it is, like it's going to be that way. That's where the judgment comes in. Like, this is how it's going to be. You're like, fuck.
Oh no, I just love because it's so freaking true. All of it's true, 100%.
See?
So true.
And so like when you get that way and you're in that mode, that's when your body starts to signal, hey, you're dissatisfied. And if you continue to, stay in it, you'll start to like feel your body to start shut down.
Hmm.
Now, when you move out of it, and you step into your gift, which is vitality, which you saying, you know what, this may be like didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, but something good is still going to happen. It may not be that way for you. It may not be the judgment way that I wanted it to be, but you also have to remember why. What is the why for you to be able to push forward? Because, okay, that step didn't work. Let me try a different step. Like, let me try it this way. That you see the vitality, you see the life that it still can be possible. It's just not going to go the way that you wanted it to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is where your health is knowing that your flow is going to be different. Maybe it's going, and here's the thing, our flow is always freaking changing. And no, I'm not talking about periods, y'all. I'm talking about how we move through life. I mean, your flow is going to be freaking different. And this is even when working with other people. Your flow is not going to match the other person. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't put expectations on that other person. Like I said, you have to find the integrity within yourself and others, because that's what you meant to do, girl.
Mm-hmm.
In your I mean, look, in your evolution, find that integrity. So when you can step in vitality and know that everything's versatile,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? You're happy and you're healthy, and you relieve the stress, dissatisfaction, and whatnot. And I just said
Yeah.
stress, y'all. But anyways, you are a line 6, which the line 6 is nurturer. Yeah, I'm using my cheat sheet, y'all, because, well, I got one and I like it. Okay. So the nurturer basically says you nurture your ideas, whatever it is that you love and passionate about, or whatever it is that you're doing. You know the saying, go big or go home?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the energy of that sphere.
Yeah.
If you can't see and stick it out, then, fuck it. You're not going to want anything to do with it. I mean, that's also in your 4,
Mm-hmm.
like, but yeah, it's also in the 6 too, because you are a 6. So if you can find a way to nurture whatever it is that you're wanting to nurture, and whatever lights you the fuck up, nurture the shit out of it. Just because it gets hard doesn't mean you have to stop. Maybe sometimes it's just the saying of, maybe I need to pause. This doesn't mean I don't ever have to pick it up again. This just means right now, I'm going to put it down, take care of me first, and then get myself 100% and come back to it. You can
Yeah.
pick it back up again.
Yeah.
So that is your how you stay happy and healthy. Does that resonate with you?
Oh my God. Absolutely. At 100, like everything, 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 and all aspects of my life. When it comes to being a conscious entrepreneur, to comes to being a mom, to when it comes to even just, well, I'm not a wife anymore, but I could see how like being a wife, like it would have, if I did a better job at that for sure. Like it's just, yeah, nurturing for, especially because you're right. I am the kind of person, and I think I even said this a little bit ago to you. Like I I love, and when I nurture, when I love, it's go big or go home. Like it's deep, it's
Yeah.
wide. And that does bring me satisfaction. That brings me so much vitality and happiness when I can pour everything, all my essence into something. Um, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. With the okay, so we're moving. Sorry, I was losing track there. So the very last sphere in your activation sequence is your purpose sphere. And if you notice, that the top one, and I didn't say this before, but your life's work is also connected to your prosperity. But it's not going to be the life's work sphere. It's going to be called the brand sphere. So that's basically when you work, that's going to be your brand. So whatever your energy is for the life's work, that's also going to be your brand. Now, the purpose one is your purpose in your life, what lights you the fuck up. And it's also the purpose in your relationships. You're like, okay, we were talking about relationships a lot. Well, here you go, girl.
Oh, this is too funny. I love
This
it.
is why I came on here today, so you could hear this. Finally get into the good shit.
Bring it.
So, your purpose is Gene Key 52 with the line 6. And Your shadow is stress, and your gift is restraint, and your Sidic is stillness. Okay. As you notice, we were talking in the radiance. It's all about your flow. It's all about just recognizing, okay, this is not how things are, I guess, not how they're meant to go. So my expectations, they're out the freaking window. Purpose here, your expectations may be causing you some freaking stress when it comes to the shit that lights you the fuck up. Because guess what, girl? Expectations aren't everything.
Yeah, so true.
Stress can cause you, and I say this, that when you feel stress, it's going to signal your radiance and be like, hey, she's like stressed the fuck out, which then triggers the dissatisfaction, which then triggers your body to be like, hey, something needs to happen here. You need to freaking recognize what flow you are at. And once you do, you know, there's the awareness of, okay, I'm stressed out. That's you saying, hey, I need to step back and figure some shit out before I come forward. Because with the line 6, and I know I said it before in your line 6 prior to this sphere, it's go big or go fucking home. Okay. So, and that means you need to really, really listen to your body in this one. Um, so your gift is restraint. Same thing with what is it? Vitality. It's knowing when to push forward and how to push forward, because you're supposed to do big things in this world, girl. You're a freaking 6. You have a line. I mean, it's in your unconscious sun and your unconscious earth. So, girl, you were meant to do some big shit. So, you were meant to experience some big shit as well. It's finding the restraint to step out of the stress and be like, okay, how can I reevaluate this, still get to where I want to be without feeling the pressure of stress and without being dissatisfied? Right? Does that make sense? You're like,
You know,
fuck.
I, yes, it makes sense. And I'm just laughing profusely because that is so freaking true.
Yep. See, this is how I
So
felt. I feel so
true.
validated when I was reading mine. I was like, shit. Oh, okay. That explains that. So, you being a line 6, and when I say this, every line is going to give you how you feel it in your body. Okay. For you, it's in your cells, so you're gonna feel it all over the fucking place. Okay,
Hmm.
because everything is cells.
Oh, I feel it
You,
everywhere for sure.
with you, because it in your cell, it's also going to be like I said earlier, in your aura. Your aura is going to communicate with others. All right. So whatever you're giving off is what you're going to attract. So be very mindful of what you put into your body, what you do to your body physically, what you say in your mind, what you visually watch, what you hear, and like even what you taste. I know that's
Yeah,
really weird,
it's
but
no, it's true.
because you feel it in your cells, you have to be very, very conscious of everything that's going on. It
Hmm.
sucks as a line 6, I know. But they're like, that's a lot. I've had people say, that's a lot. I said, I know, but it's because you were meant to do big things.
Hmm.
And you
It
are the
is.
why. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, no, it is a lot. It is a lot, but it's so important. And I laugh because everything you're saying, it totally makes sense. And I'm 100%, I've been there, I am there. And it's like I'm everything. And at the same time, I've learned how to master it, but then I go like it's so phenomenal. But what you said a little bit ago of making sure like, it's everything of what you're bringing in. And I did, like, I've noticed that in my life when I took a step back and said, why am I carrying, because here's the thing, and maybe and talking about opinions from like life's purpose, Okay. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go way back here for a lot of people because I haven't talked about it yet, but I'm going to for sure talk about it cuz I did a somatic breath work not too long ago. Actually, in the course that you and I took, Megan, did you show up for that somatic breath work?
No,
That
I was teaching
oh,
yoga that night.
oh my gosh. Well, let me tell you my experience because I haven't shared my experience with a lot of people. I've only the actually only person I shared my experience with was with my mom, and I only shared it with her because I needed her confirmation from her because it was just that experience was such a so it was mind blowing. But at that point was when I realized one of my biggest blockages of why I stopped myself from stepping into the life I really want to step into and be who I really am meant to be. So in the somatic breath work, as I was doing it, I went back into like in my mind, I don't know how, I just went back and I was back in my mother's womb, back in her womb. I know, right? Like I was just, I remember like I just, it was all, it was black and pitchy, but I felt it, I heard it, like I just knew that I was back in my mom's womb. This is why I bring it up though. I bring it up because what I realized while I was in my mom's womb, I was remembering a memory of an argument that my mom and dad were having. And unfortunately, it was an abusive argument. My dad was physically hurting my mom. And I remember hearing like, and I remember the pain and I remember feeling like from that, yeah, from as a fetus,
Mhm,
remembering the helplessness that I had because I couldn't help my mom. I couldn't do anything for her. And, and I remember feeling my mom's pain, feeling her worry, feeling her sadness, feeling all of that. And
mhm,
then I remember feeling her holding me, like holding her stomach. Like I remember like her
mhm,
holding her stomach and talking to me and telling me like that just loving me and putting all her love into me. And at that moment I remember and like me feeling like this is what I need to do. I need to take care of others. Like I need I other like again, my mom's expectations of me was to be her healer and her like her provider, like her protector. And I didn't realize like that's what I've been carrying my whole life is other people's opinions about me and everything that everyone has ever said to me of like this is who you're supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to be like. And like I was carrying in that all of that for the last 30 years because I literally when I really decided I need to do something different with my life was when I was on my 30th. I was like, holy shit, I'm getting married this year because I got married when I turned 30. It's like I'm getting married this year. This is what's happening. I need to do something. Especially because within a few months after our marriage, my ex-husband and I decided to have kids and we're like we're going to start a family and I'm like am I really ready to be a mom and like putting all of that into perspective, but then seeing how I've been carrying other people's opinions, other people's um yeah, and then me forming my judgment around it and all of that to now like seeing how all of that has always created stress because that is what created the stress for me. It
mhm,
wasn't like life doesn't create the stress for me. It's me carrying other people's opinions and other people's like me putting it upon myself to help others and to heal others and to like that's creating the stress. So now that you're saying all of this, I'm like, yes. And now I get to pick and choose my battles. Now I get to say, mm, this is not worth my energy. Like everything. The moment I
mm,
start stressing out, I start to tell myself, is this worth my energy? Is it worth my energy? And I literally will go through all of my body of like, okay, what am I bringing in? Like when I'm going to start reading because I love reading books, I literally will think to myself, is this book worth my energy? Because I'm going to be investing into this energy.
mhm,
Uh, everything, like everything. I was always asking myself, is it worth my energy? Sometimes I forget, and that's when I slip it. That's when I go into dissatisfaction, and that's when I'm like, oh, that's right. I have to remember, is this worth my energy? But that's why I'm laughing because all of this and everything you were talking about, the senses. Oh, that's why I wanted to share all this because Well, that's one thing that I've realized that, like, the more I tap into my five senses, really do help me connect with my sixth sense, which is inside
Yeah.
of us. It's our inner selves. And that's how I developed my program, Unlocking Your Inner Comadre, which is all about everything.
See,
I
you're doing
cannot.
what you're supposed to be doing.
That's why everything you're talking about, I was just like, holy shit, I have brought everything in life that I've learned and put it into my program as what I do for a spiritual life coach. And I'm just like, I'm just mind blown. I'm just so mind blown right now.
Yep. Yep, girl. This is why I do what I do. Because, like, okay, yeah, we're talking about gene keys, but in my human design, my view is survival. How I view things, I'm always looking at, okay, is this survivable? Is this going to help me live? Is this going to help the world live? And I found that what I do correlates with that, because I'm going to implement that into what I do.
Mhm,
The only way that I feel that this world and people can survive is when they feel validated
mhm,
and they also are happy. It
mhm,
is why I do what I do, because I bet you're like, man, that just freaking validated the shit out of everything. And on top of that, it confirmed that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, which then creates the energy of happiness, because it's like, oh, I don't have to doubt myself anymore. Nah, man. And it turns off the ego, or not the ego, the imposter syndrome,
mhm. Which is
because you're
part of the ego for
literally,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it turns that off. So there's happiness within it.
Mhm,
And yeah, I deep dived into yours, but this is how I look at it and read it. And then when I hear other people's story, it just confirms everything. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why you're okay. Your thought process is here again. Remember, we want
mhm,
to bring it here. This is why it's such a great tool, especially when it comes to changing the mindset. Because a lot of us don't realize that we are staying in the shadow self.
yeah,
And
that's
we
so true.
do have the option to shift into and pivot into our gifts, what
Mhm,
lights us up, what keeps us happy, what keeps us healthy. And then we can just be like flowing through life the way we were supposed to flow through
mhm,
life. So, yeah, that is
mm.
why I do what I do, girl. And
I
I
love
freaking love
it.
it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Oh, is there anything else that or was that everything or
That was for the genius one.
okay.
um so yeah, that is I do different readings, specifically with the different sequences, because it's just a lot. Like I said,
Mhm,
it's a lot to go through when you do all three of them, and you're really meant to embody each of the gene keys and contemplate each of them and how they work in your life, and be like, okay, I do remember when I use that, and I do remember how that works out for me.
mhm,
Creates the awareness of like,
mhm.
oh, okay, you recognize it, and you can train your mind to recognize it and be like, okay, but I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So when you do, and if you do decide to work with me or maybe dive into yourself, take a little at a time. I know this is very exciting. I deep dived for like 3 months into mine, y'all, because I was in the hole. And my husband was like, are you ever going to come out? I said, you have no idea how validating this is. He was like, well, are you going to tell me? I said, as soon as I'm done healing myself from the shit that I just learned. So,
Oh, I love that. No, for sure. And for me, it was all confirmation because yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's the shit that I've been very well aware of all of these things. So I love it. And this is why I'm so happy that you and I have connected because yeah, I'm just excited to continue on this conversation with you outside, obviously. And
Yeah.
maybe we can always do a follow-up, especially if my listeners are
Yeah.
like, we want Megan some more. Cause I'm like, yes, trust me, we all want Megan.
Yeah. Yes, girl. Yes. Well, do you have any questions that correlated with anything that I said?
I mean,
Did it answer the ones that you had?
it did. I think so I'm trying to remember. Hold on. There was a lot that was said. I don't have any particular questions when it comes to gene keys because now that I understand that and I'm like, oh, like this makes sense. So now how does human design play a role? Because if gene keys are the feminine, divine feminine, then the masculine is the human design.
Yeah, divine
Okay.
masculine is the human design.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, okay, if you don't know your human design and you start looking at your gene keys and you recognizing that these are the energies that you have, well, there's also the human design aspect because you're a manifesting generator. This
Emotional manifesting
an
generator, actually.
emotional an
I don't even know what
emotional
that means. So tell me a little bit more of how that affects with my gene keys.
Okay. So this is how you are meant to respond because I know I went a little over it. Your strategy in life is how is you're supposed to respond. Okay. So these are how the ways that you respond. You can choose to respond to be in the shadow or be in the gift or maybe even the CD. So that is how it plays the role because I can act, let's say I said this before in the last one. You probably thought you were a manifester and you tried to initiate this shit without waiting for a response or giving
Mm-hmm.
anybody saying, hey,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, this is this and that. And you automatically go into opinion or whatever. And if you initiate shit through opinions and through judgment, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to say this, if you do, you will go into dissatisfaction and stress real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, if
Yeah.
you really, really embody your human design and wait for the response and sit back and know, okay, do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? It gives you an ebb and flow of where you're supposed or how you're supposed to go and be. So that is why it's very, very important. I also, human design, like I said, there's 6 different archetypes in your profile is a 4 6. That's how you move it, you interact with the world.
Mm-hmm.
That is your profile. So that's why it's so important to know your human design because that's how you interact with the world. You're a 4 6,
Mm-hmm.
a hair, no, opportunist role model.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that and looking at your gene keys, you can see like, oh shit, yeah, I am one. Oh,
Yeah.
right. That makes sense.
It does. It does. It totally makes sense. I love that.
Now, you said emotional. I don't know if I went over this last episode we were on. Your authority is what's going to help you make well, they pretty much just make your decisions. Okay. Your authority and my authority, because I'm an emotional one, I do believe there's 7 different authorities. um and I'm not going to go over all of them, but if you want to book a session with me, you're more than welcome to figure out what yours is. But I'm just saying, um an emotional one means that your solar plexus is defined, and the solar plexus is the brown triangle on the right. Okay. If you have it colored in, that means you had a defined solar plexus. That means you feel really hard. Either you're up here and excited, you're on top of the world, or you're down there. Woe is me. Everything sucks. Life sucks. People sucks. All that. You're supposed to wait to make a decision once you've rode the wave of that emotion. Like, I bet you, because I've done it too, you were like, somebody asked you to do something or gave you an idea gave you something to respond to, and you were like, hell yeah, I'm gonna freaking do it. But when it settled down, you were like, what the fuck did I agree to? Like, this
Yes.
isn't, no, I don't want to do this anymore. But because you are a 4-6, you're committed. You're committed to doing it. And you're like, oh shit. I should have waited to like ride the wave of the high and come back down here to the leveled out space before you answer, which is really hard for people with emotionals who just now are learning it because um we have these expectations. No, not we. Society has these expectations to give the answer right away.
Mm-hmm.
I found me as an emotional ever since I decided, like, found out I was an emotional one, that I said, let me get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't like what I say, then I know it wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
Because guaranteed when I did, if I was like way up here and I said, hey, let me get back to you on that, and they were like, never mind, and I came down here, my sacral was like saying, hell no, you didn't want to do it anyways. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing. You'll
Yeah.
notice it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I mean when I say emotional.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it. But no, that's it. That was all. That was my only question. You were able to answer, and I appreciate it. So, I thank you. Thank you, Megan. I am mind blown. This is phenomenal information. Again, to all of my listeners out there, Gene Keys and Human Design, go the websites are on the description. Also, how to book your own one-on-ones with Megan. Go check her out. This is all phenomenal information. This is great, and it really does help. The more your knowledge is power.
Mhm.
I'm a firm believer of knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you can do. And because that is our purpose in life, is just to go through life and learn and try to do better each time. And the only way to do that is by learning more about yourself, because
Yep, that's very
yeah.
true. And you want to know what my radiance is?
Yes, I
It's
do.
gene, it's gene key 16, and it's in difference. And I believe it's versatility and mastery. This all has to do with learning shit and mastering it.
Mhm.
So that is what keeps me healthy. If I'm not learning something or I'm not growing somewhere in my life, then guess what? I'm like, not good.
Yeah,
I'm not. So
I
that's
feel
why
it.
I know and I've learned a lot of things. It's just what I was meant to do. My
Yeah.
husband's always like, "Are you ever gonna quit learning?" I'm like, "Probably not." I mean,
See, I
it's
love
me.
that. I love that. I love that. Especially, yeah, I love all that because again, it does describe you to the T, especially in the in the times that we've connected and how we've connected. Like, it's
Hmm.
phenomenal. I love
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Megan. Is there any last words or anything you want to share?
Let me think. No, I think I shared what I needed to share. They're showing me when we first began and you were breathing into your knee. Like, yeah, we're good. I think that's it. I think if I said any more, it'd be too much. They'd be like, wait a second, she does what?
Oh no, I love it. I love it. Again, go on your website. Oh, actually, that's where I'll end it for to add for your part. If someone is interested, the best way to book is going through your website, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. So we'll do that. And yeah, so thank you everyone for listening. I cannot wait just to see how much more I develop and grow also, especially with this podcast and everything, because the more I learn about myself, it's just phenomenal. So
I
anyways, thank
know.
you everyone for listening. And with all of that, I am sending you all so much fire and butterflies. And as always, don't forget, love your now. Bye.
I